Everybody, welcome. The Rant Network on Labor Day, coming to you live from the Safari in Montreal, and me live in one of my offices in South Florida. We've got a crazy topic for you. You first thought that, we ranted a lot about anti Semitism. But, it's anti Semitism, it's anti LGBTQIA plus. I don't know what the rest initials are. It's anti black, it's anti this, anti that. We've discussed so many of these racist topics. But this one, coming from the politically correct Canada, where David is right now situated, about a prime minister who claims to be neutral and anti everything, and where his father was one of the biggest anti-Semites, I think, in the last 75 years as the Prime Minister of Canada, just so you know, Pierre. But David, we got a new guy coming up, Laith Marouf, that's getting hundreds of thousands of dollars by a guy named Rex Murphy. I mean, David,
no. So once again, okay, let's start from the very beginning. First of all, Stuart, let's dive into something here. The Liberal Party of Canada, similar to the Democratic Party in the United States, likes to call itself the party of the people. They're help minorities, immigrants. They're the good people, because the other side, the Republicans or the Conservatives, well, they're all about business and making money, and they don't care about little guys like you and me. That's the claim. Now, Justin Trudeau loves to wave the moral flag that he is a superior being in his morality, his values, his beliefs. When he first came in as prime minister after dissing the Conservative Party of Canada, he went out on an apology tour, apologizing for so many of Canada's historical transgressions. But oddly enough, Justin Trudeau is a walking scandal. Now, we've talked about this numerous times about his scandals, but did you know that he's also a walking racist? He doesn't like women in power. So there's a lot here with Justin. And yes, maybe he took something out of his daddy, Pierre, who hated everybody. But let's just get to the story here at hand here. The Liberal Party of Canada, like I said, is trying to be the party of the people, and sent hundreds of thousands of dollars as part of Heritage Canada to an organization that talks about, it's about heritage, it's Canadian, values and Canadian, beliefs and whatever. And it's interesting how this, they sent this money to a guy named Laith Marouf. Now, Laith Marouf runs this organization, and it's a so-called nonprofit, and they've sent over $600,000 over the last 3 years to this organization. And it's interesting because Heritage Minister of Canada has no problem to continue to send him money. Okay, and it's really too bad, because if someone actually did some homework about Laith Marouf, you'd find that this man is a card-carrying anti-Semite, hates Israel, hates other people. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist. In fact, I bet you even my mother-in-law, who is Facebook challenged and internet challenged, would find right off the bat something about Laith Marouf. But Ahmed Hussein, who is in charge of Heritage Canada, simply claims he was shocked that CMAC, this organization, is run by an anti-Semite. Shocked. Now, it's interesting because Liberal MPs have claimed that they tried to bring to the attention of Mr. Hussein that there is a problem here, including an old classmate of mine, an old high school mate of mine, I should say, of Anthony Housefather, the MP here of Mount Royal, who, when he ran for the Liberal Party, said, quote, "You need to vote me in so I can defend us in Parliament," not represent, defend. Clearly, Anthony and others know that the Liberal Party of Canada is filled with anti-Semites. It's filled with anti-Israel haters. And unfortunately, we need, as Jews, did you hear this, Liberal MPs to defend Jews in government. Now, the scandal, which it should be, has gone completely erased by Canadian media. Canadian media, like American media, is more interested in sensationalism, and anti-Semitism, that's not sensational enough. Stuart, we had a whole situation here where Lisa LaFlamme, the CTV broadcaster, was fired because she has gray hair and she's in her late 50s. And we had another situation here where Chrystia Freeland, the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, was assaulted by one protester, verbally assaulted. It was obnoxious. And now we're talking about the need for additional security for politicians. But once again, the Trudeau government, the Liberal government, matched with their friends at the Liberal media, lower L media, have put this racist scandal under the rug so that Trudeau can go scot-free. I don't know who I should be blamed for this, Stuart.
Listen. A racist is a racist, always a racist. Anthony
Hmm.
Housefather is a politician before he's a Jew. And clearly, he is a party member before he's a Jew. And Anthony Housefather, who growing up was a odd duck, pun intended, he was a swimmer with his brother Leslie, living around the corner in DDO, never came across to me as someone that was turn his back like the Jews in World War II on ratting out Jews to the Nazis for an
I'm not
extra
sure that
portion of
I'm not
bread.
sure that I'm
You
not
know,
sure that's a fair statement, Stuart. I'm not sure
I don't,
that's a
I don't
fair
need to be
statement.
fair. I don't need to be fair.
Oh, I see.
Anyone who stands by to represent his party before representing the fact that he's Jewish and allowing and tolerating Justin Trudeau, our contemporary, but the Prime Minister of Canada, who, by the way, again, as I started this broadcast, his father was a known anti Semite. So the rock doesn't fall far from the tree. The apple is from, the tree of his father. I mean, listen, we all know that blackface Trudeau is a two-faced man. His goal is to create wealth, further his political ambitions, and make more money than it is to resolving and solving problems. Again, he likes power like anyone else. The difference between, I guess, a Trudeau and a Trump, a Biden, or a Putin is that he's Mickey Mouse. The guy's net worth is chump change
Well,
to the
it's irrelevant. No,
billionaire
we don't.
boys
But
club.
it's irrelevant of his net worth, Stuart. You have to understand something here, right? Where in the United States you have term limits, we do not. He wants to be king for life. So we already know about Trudeau and his mindset and his attitude. But this really, let's focus in on the one thing over here, right? When Trudeau came to power, the comment we heard in the community was that the Jewish community was more and more, not majority, but was more and more shifting their vote to the Conservative Party because the Conservative Party, under then Prime Minister Harper, really defended Israel's right to secure itself. And some Jews started to shift. So when you look at what the Liberal Party did was, hey, let's counterbalance that by supporting the other side. And again, the more you bring in the people who oppose, then again, you create the divisive politics that we talked about last week. This is what Trudeau wants to do. He's a divisive person. When the truckers and the convoy were in Ottawa, he, similar to Biden, isolated them as racist, fringe, anti-democratic. This is what Justin does. Justin wants to divide Canadians. Justin wants the power, like you said, and he wants to enhance this. Hey, now it's odd because he will cry that he supports the UN definition of anti-Semitism. But then when money has been given away by clearly a Muslim individual to an anti-Semite who you couldn't. I mean, like, did anybody do a freaking due diligence, or is this part and parcel of the
Political.
Trudeau?
This is a political payback, David. You rub my back, fill my drawers. I'll give you money back. That's what this is all about. I think CSIS has to do a real audit on Trudeau's money.
They
And
won't,
until they
Stuart. But Stuart, they won't. And you keep harping on that, buddy. But forget about the money because no one goes down the money trail. No one goes down the money trail. No one goes out of office. And it's funny, we've talked about this. No one leaves office and gets persecuted. They go and they take their bags of money. They take all of their power. They take everything they go to and they run away. But Stuart, Justin Trudeau is not the only one to be blamed. I don't understand. Where's the Globe and Mail, the Toronto Star, the Toronto Sun? Every one of those newspapers, CTV, CBC, Global, why is this not headline news that Justin
Because it's about
Trudeau's
Jews.
racism?
It's about
No,
Jews.
it's also about securing. Listen, right now, there's a shift in Canada. There is a movement in Canada where the Liberals are losing their power and the media doesn't want to give it to the Conservatives. They would much rather see the Liberals and, God help us, the Socialist NDP, who, by the way, passed another
You just
legislation
went dead,
against
David.
Israel. And it's amazing to see, Stuart, I'm running live here. It's amazing to see how much, how it's just disgusting how the media consistently would rather crap on Jews and not do the right thing because they would rather have, you know, a guy like Trudeau, a liberals in power. I would say to you right now, with the layers and layers and layers and layers of scandals that he has been involved with, he's been mired in. His own party, he lost uh, a Native Canadian member of parliament because he was vicious to women and he didn't like what she did, and just read her book, her autobiography. You see what he does to the Jewish community. Screamed and yelled. And again, the media. I mean, I give credit to the National Post. At least they're keeping it in the paper. You mentioned Rex Murphy, who is a commentator who is lambasting. The National Post does try. But the Globe and Mail has avoided it. I told you about the various media, and I just am sickened that that once again, we claim to be a multicultural, open society, except to the Jewish community and except when it impacts the Liberal Party. If you would substitute on Laith Marouf's texts or, sorry, tweets and whatever, black or Muslim, I wonder what the reaction would have been.
David, but this is what's been going on for 5,000 years. What a surprise.
It's
I've
not
never seen.
because this is a democracy as opposed to,
Yeah,
where
but
stars.
the shame falls on the Anthony Hout fathers, the members of parliament that claim to be Jewish by name, and some by what practice, who knows. But David, it's embarrassing for Anthony House. I challenge
Well, I would leave
Anthony
Anthony out.
Housefather. I challenge Anthony Housefather. We all know him. I haven't talked to him in 40 years, maybe 35, 40. But I challenge Anthony Housefather to take a press conference
He
and let
won't.
him speak
He
out.
won't. He
Yeah,
won't.
well, because
He
then
won't.
he's just a coward. Then, like I started saying, he's
That's
no different than the Jew in World War II that ratted
Stuart.
out his other Jews. He's
Stuart,
just
he is.
he's a fake
Stuart,
Jew.
I couldn't agree more. And I don't know if the so-called, what they call the liberal whip, who is the person who keeps everybody in line, that's the British parliamentary system. It's not a physical whip. It's just the name of the person, has not gone over to Anthony and said, be a good boy or else. Look, Anthony is wanted like every other member of parliament who comes in there. They want power. They want connections. They want they would love to get a cabinet position because Anthony has nothing. Anthony is continuously a backbencher in the Liberal Party because he doesn't play nice with Justin. Here's another situation where he could, but he won't because he wants what he wants. And you're right. But again, I'm not just blaming the Anthony House fathers and the other Jewish Liberal MPs that are out there. I'm blaming Canadians. I'm blaming the media for not yelling. This is what's disgusting. There should have been a scandal. There should have been protests on Parliament Hill. The same way we marched up and down streets with Black Lives Matter. It doesn't matter because the Jew is always the one who's going to get beaten up by one of the sides. And again, we would rather talk about gray hair, and we'd rather talk about politicians being verbally assaulted than racism. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached once again the quarter hour.
See y'all Wednesday, maybe with another enlightened topic trying to get off that political storm in the United States of Biden and Trump. But I think it's impossible to do that. But
We
David,
will.
you
We
figured one
can.
out today.
We can, and I'm sure
Good
we
job.
will. Have a good day.